Right now, 4 million used cars are about to be dumped on the American market, and if you think that means cheap vehicles for everyone, you are missing the collapse that is coming. Dealers are literally drowning, paying $30 a day in interest on inventory they can't sell, while rental giants, banks, and repo trucks are quietly flooding the auctions at a scale the market has never faced. The average used car payment just hit a staggering $733 a month. Yet prices are crashing thousands lower every week, and finance losses are piling up. But why did this impossible tsunami happen now? And who engineered the financial squeeze that is about to wipe out billions overnight? The answer starts with the manufactured bubble and the shocking power moves that priced you out of the market on purpose. For 3 years, the used car market wasn't just hot, it was fully on fire. That 2020 Ram 1500 that should have lost value suddenly commanded thousands more than its new sticker price. Even a base model Camry, the definition of boring, became an investment that went up with every passing month. It wasn't just unusual, it was upside down. Buyers were tripping over themselves, paying thousands above sticker price just to secure something with 4 wheels. Ask anyone who tried to buy a car in 2022. That nurse in Phoenix, Sarah, watching her desired Honda Accord drop from $28,000 to $21,000 in just 6 weeks, hoping for $18,000. But what she didn't know was that same car would be sitting on the lot for $14,000 by next year, with the dealer practically begging someone, anyone, to take it. Meanwhile, Mike, a contractor in Ohio, thought he was playing it smart, paying a massive $64,000 for his Ford F-250 last year, convinced trucks would only get more expensive. Last week, he drove past his local lot and saw the exact same truck, same trim, listed for $51,000. That's $13,000 gone, vanished. The story is repeating itself everywhere, but the pain isn't just the sticker price. The average payment is now $733 every month for a used car. Stop and think about that. In some parts of the country, that's a mortgage. For families already squeezed by every other rising cost, it's a monthly bill that feels impossible to escape. And here is the brutal kicker. The cars people stretched to buy are now worth thousands less than what they owe. Negative equity is everywhere. Millions of Americans are underwater on their loans, stuck with a vehicle they can't afford to sell or trade. This wasn't a fluke or a natural cycle. The entire system was engineered to squeeze every last DMN dollar from buyers, using easy credit and limited inventory to fuel a frenzy. While the average family got locked into sky-high payments, the big players walked away with record profits. And now, as prices collapse and the inventory flood begins, it's the everyday buyer left holding the bag. 3 main forces propped up this entire used car bubble, and every single one was engineered by the biggest players in the business. First, there was the supply choke. New car production cratered to its lowest since the Great Recession. Automakers blamed the chip shortage, but the reality was a coordinated slowdown. With less supply, dealers could instantly jack up prices on whatever they had, turning basic sedans into bidding wars. Second came the cheap credit flood. The Federal Reserve slashed interest rates to near zero, and suddenly, lenders were handing out 7-year loans like Halloween candy, with average used car APRS still near 11.5%. They pushed buyers into payments they couldn't possibly afford, fueling the tidal wave of easy money. Third, the fleet hoarding play. Rental giants like Hertz, usually the biggest source of gently used vehicles, slammed on the brakes. They sold off nearly half their fleets during the initial lockdowns, but then, facing a new car shortage, they refused to cycle out their aging inventory and began buying used vehicles at auction, directly competing with you, the consumer, and driving prices even higher. Every single link in the chain, from the factory floor to the showroom, was controlled by the same handful of corporations and financial institutions. They squeezed the supply, pumped in the cheap loans, and starved the used car pipeline, all while they reported record profits. The bubble wasn't an accident. But what happened next would shock everyone. Most people don't realize that dealerships don't actually own the cars on their lots. Every vehicle is financed through what's called floor plan credit, a massive revolving loan that lets them stock inventory. It sounds smart, but in 2024, it's turned into a financial chokehold. Here is how it works. Every car on a dealer's lot racks up interest every single day it goes unsold. That daily cost, often between $22 and $45 per car, is a ticking time bomb. Steve, that dealer in Wisconsin, is paying $30 per car per day. If a car sits for the national average of 48 days, it's already eaten $1,440 in interest alone. Multiply that by 200 vehicles, and his interest cost runs over $180,000 a month before a single car is sold. When cars were flying off the lot in under 2 weeks, nobody worried. Now with inventory sitting for months, those floor plan costs pile up like a heavy blizzard. Dealers can no longer pass these costs on. They are now slashing prices just to stop the financial bleeding, selling at a loss to avoid another week of interest. This isn't just a paperwork problem. The National Automobile Dealers Association estimates that 25% of used car dealers could shut their doors within the next year. This is a slow-motion collapse, and when they go under, their lenders seize the unsold cars and dump them at auction, adding to the growing mountain of supply. The dealer collapse is one source of the flood, but the repo wave is creating the actual tsunami. Every day in America, 15,000 cars are seized from their owners, not per month, but per day. That's over 1.7 million vehicles repossessed in 2024 alone, the highest number since the fallout of 2009. The pain hits hardest for subprime borrowers, people with lower credit scores who are defaulting at a record rate, with over 6.6% now 60 days or more overdue. Tens of thousands of Americans each week are waking up to find their only way to work or to school gone overnight. The average negative equity for a repossessed car is over $6,900, and after the auction, most still owe upwards of $11,000 on a car they no longer own. It is a job, a lifeline, a sense of stability, gone. Every car yanked from a driveway gets dumped at auction where it lines up next to hundreds of others, hammering the prices and forcing dealers to bid lower and lower. This is what a tidal wave of repossessions looks like. It sweeps across the country, leaving a trail of broken budgets and empty driveways. But that wasn't the whole story. A second massive tidal wave is building, one that almost no used car shopper sees coming, and it has an electric plug. It started with the Inflation Reduction Act's leasing loophole. That technicality meant banks and automakers could claim a $7,500 federal tax credit for every electric vehicle leased, passing most of that saving to drivers as lower monthly payments. The effect was an explosion. EV lease rates skyrocketed from 15% to nearly 67% of all new electric sales. That means nearly 1 million EVs were leased with artificially cheap payments, and they are all set to return in a narrow window. Recurrent auto projects that by 2027, 650,000 leased electric vehicles will hit the used market. This glut is made worse by the infamous Hertz fire sale. They got burned on their massive bet on EVs, staring down a $392 million quarterly loss. And their solution was to dump 40,000 electric vehicles, mostly Teslas, onto an already collapsing market. EVs don't hold value like traditional cars due to rapid tech changes, so that $50,000 EV SUV leased in 2023 could hit the used market at $35,000 or less. When one of the biggest players gets burned this badly and starts liquidating, the pressure on prices intensifies for everyone. The combined result of this entire engineered collapse is a brutal trap for the average buyer. Mike's story is the new normal. That $64,000 F-250 he bought is now worth thousands less and falling fast. He's not alone. Over 28% of new vehicle trade-ins are now underwater. That's nearly 1 in 3 people owing more than their car is worth. They are trapped in negative equity, stuck making massive $700 plus payments on assets that bleed value every single month. Mike can't sell, can't refinance, and can't trade in without writing a massive check just to walk away. This is what a wealth transfer looks like. During the boom, the profits stayed at the top with the big corporations. And now, as the market collapses, the losses trickle down directly to regular people like Mike. With the 4 million used vehicles, repossessions, lease returns, and rental fleets about to flood the market, the bottom isn't even close. Anyone who bought in the last 2 years is staring down a perfect storm of falling values, rising payments, and no way out. The documented facts confirm a historic wealth transfer and a collapsing market structure. For millions of Americans, the era of easy car ownership has ended, replaced by a new landscape shaped by decisions made in boardrooms, auction lots, and government offices. The only remaining question is how long can the rest of the market hold out before they are dragged under too?